Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, Notre Dame fans, whenever you are watching or listening to this week's show. Thank you for making us a part of your day. I'm Mike Singer. I run our video and recruiting operation at Blue and Gold. And the handsome gentleman that I share the screen with is Tim Hyde,
How are we doing?
legendary junior college and high school coach
Legendary.
in the Golden State and a man who has served our country. So, Tim, your credentials are better than mine, my friend.
Yeah, speaking of that, man, it's like just quick 30 seconds. It's like D-Day. I love going on Twitter this time of year. I'm a big Gettysburg guy too when 4th of July hits, but this time of year, D-Day's tomorrow. You get the troops are starting to go. You get some history accounts on Twitter for all you guys interested. Guys break it down minute by minute. It's awesome. So as you know, I know guys been around a long time. My grandfather was at Pearl Harbor. Went all the way till the Battle of Okinawa with the Marines. So he did a couple of years there. He fought in the Pacific for World War II. But when it's this time of year and it's D-Day, just thinking back to those guys, it's pretty awesome. So salute the troops, all those good things that we do. So
amen, brother. Amen, brother.
You
We have a ton to discuss today. Some news on the football front, news on the recruiting front. Got some different things I wanted to get Tim's reaction to. Yeah, so excited for today's show, folks. If you're watching on YouTube, please hit the thumbs up on this video and subscribe to our channel for more content. Tim's reading the YouTube comments. I can see his eyes. He's chuckling over there. If you're listening via podcast formats, thank you as well. We always like to recommend folks come over from podcast and watch it on YouTube for the more visuals, but we understand if you are on the road and can only listen to podcasts. We don't want you watching a YouTube video as you're driving, so I understand. Yes, so Lotus just said, J Carr, either me or you have to make Singer. I am not gonna lie, Tim. When you were just talking last, J Carr made it. I was looking for it when you were talking. I couldn't find it. It was in one of our little communities, and I couldn't find it. So we're not gonna play the bingo today because J Carr, I scrolled and I couldn't find it. I'm doing a show, so anyway.
I don't know what in the world I said, but he said I hit 4 bingos in 2 minutes. So
well, the quick 30 seconds, it's got to be on there. Tim, listen. I need everyone to spam my Twitter DMs and emails. Are we gonna have a show next Wednesday? It's my anniversary, but
we'll find out, won't we?
I guess we'll find out. Maybe we'll move it to Tuesday, but whenever you see the tweets go out about the show, everyone needs to spam me saying, Singer, do the bingo card, because I always forget. It exists. I just gotta do it.
Yeah, I love it.
All right. Bob says you have a great show. So Bob, I appreciate it, and hopefully we have a great show.
Yeah, got some good items. Let's dive into it, man.
All right. So this was I like to start the show with some just random college football things. Tim, did you see this? Colorado has the 4th most placed bets to win the college football playoffs on MGM. The line has moved from plus 20,000 to plus 12,500, which is fairly significant. 4.5% of bets, 4th most, are on Colorado. Now, the odds move because that's where the money has come. But I saw someone else tweet, I can't remember, but it was like, this is why the house wins because of things like this. Tim, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, you sent me the outline. I saw, and I was going to respond. I was like, no, I'll just wait for the show. And I'm like, Colorado. I'm like, what's Colorado? It's like, because I know you used to work for Colorado, so maybe you're having a long day and you type for Colorado. I was like, what's he meant? I had no idea. So people are literally wasting their money on Colorado. I love it. I love America. Just bam, just burn money, right? It is unbelievable. Yeah, 4-8 team about to go 16-0. Oh man, which is crazy because I started thinking Colorado, because I love all these post-spring top 25s, and I love getting into this because I love mapping out who they're projecting for the playoffs. Notre Dame's anywhere from a 7 to 9 seed, basically. But I've seen Kansas. Obviously, Utah is the big favorite in the Big 12. And I'm like, Colorado. So,
And it's not to make the playoff; it's to win the whole damn thing.
Win the damn thing. It's like,
There's
okay,
no shot.
Hey, unless they have some secret guys coming in that no one knows about, who knows? But
yeah, Tom Brady's going to play quarterback in his prime.
Sanders is a talented quarterback, no doubt about it. But again, that's shocking. So, hey, this is why I love America. Freedom of speech might burn your money any way you want it. So, keep that economy going, right?
Yeah, Fighting Irish 86 says, who the hell thinks they'll win the CFP? I mean, people with money enough to move the line significantly. So, I don't know, Tim. I might throw a few bucks on it. I actually will not. I do prize picks. Well, actually, no, I haven't really been doing prize picks anymore. But otherwise, I don't do any sports gambling. But
I love it.
Anywho, the other item here was the official 24-25 college football playoff schedule has been released. You sent this to me, Tim. I don't know if you
I just saw it. Just right when I got 5 seconds to relax for a second there on the couch. I was like, oh, this would be a fun little thing. Now that it's officially set, it's pretty awesome. Because I didn't know who the games, the neutral games were going to be. The Peach and
So let me read this out, and you can come up with your reaction here. This is also for folks watching on listening to the podcast. So you have Friday, December 20th and 8 p.m. So there's 4 first round games, all at the higher seeds school. December 20th night game, ESPN. Saturday, the 21st, noon Eastern on TNT. Tim, when's the last time you watched a college football game on TNT? I don't seriously. Do you
probably in 91?
Yeah. So before
Alabama
I was born
versus Appalachian, maybe, who knows? I mean, the noon kickoff. I mean, seriously, yeah, you're right. I have no idea.
Yeah. Also on that 4 p.m. on TNT, that 21st, and then 8 p.m. ABC ESPN. That I freaking love that, Tim. You know what I don't love? I don't love on like a January 1st. You have like traditional culture where you have all the games going on at once. It's too much, Tim. I like how the NFL does it. That in their wild card weekend, you can watch each game. This is beautiful. I like this. And then the quarterfinals have bowl tie-ins. So one game on Tuesday, December 31st. Playing on Tuesdays, but I guess that's the 31st and the 1st. So that makes sense. Yeah, the Fiesta Bowl at night, and then 3 games on the 1st, 1 p.m. Peach Bowl, Rose Bowl at 5, Sugar Bowl at 8:45. That lines up, and then for the semifinals, a couple night games, back-to-back days, the 9th and the 10th, the Orange Bowl and the Cotton Bowl, respectively. And then it would be nice, Tim. This sport is, and JD Pickell tweeted this from on 3, and I loved it. The sport plays on Saturdays. It would be awesome to have the national championship on a Saturday, but it's a Monday night, January 20th. So how about the season stretching into January 20? All right, Tim, there you go, my friend.
No, I love it. I mean, I saw, like I said, I saw this tweet real quick, and it was nice. And then someone posted the NFL games that are wrapped around this.
Oh, okay.
Going into, you got Friday, Saturday, the NFL games, Sunday. There's NFL games I just found out this week is on Christmas. So I haven't even looked at the full schedule yet to see how that flows. So there's going to be games literally from this Friday playoff game all the way to New Year's Day, just like 1 hour, whether it's NFL or college, it's going to be out.
Yeah, it's going to be great.
Wild. Someone posted all the games. So my wife's not going to like it, but hey, welcome to life, right? But it's all good. The Friday night one is that the week? By the way, is Notre Dame taking finals that week? What is the traditional week of Notre Dame's finals? Hopefully it's not that week, right? Hopefully they've moved up the calendar. I've not looked at the official Notre Dame.
Yeah, you think Notre Dame's
calendar of academics?
You think Notre Dame's moving up the academic calendar for the football?
Yeah. So Jack Gasol taking his nuclear engineering class. Is he trying to block some D-end at Georgia? Not that that's the first round game, but just something like that. But just real quick off ESPN, the latest little rankings that ESPN did, the post-spring, they put all the transfers in, everything. If you map out their rankings to the playoffs, Notre Dame is the 9 seed at Penn State. So where's that Penn State game? Is that going to be the primetime whiteout on Saturday the 21st? If those are actually, if it lands like that. So they're predicted Notre Dame to go 10-2, which that would mean that's what that is. So finals are the 16th to the 20th. Are you kidding me? Oh, that's always good. That's always good. Take some, chem classes, a couple calculus classes, and get ready to go on the road and play Penn State. It's funny. Most of these, like I said, these post 25, there's been like 10 of them in the last 2 weeks, 3 weeks. It's majority has been Notre Dame at Ole Miss, Notre Dame at Penn State, and I've seen only a couple where Notre Dame host as an 8 seed. So that'll be fascinating to see how that all works out. And then there's one, I think someone had them as an 11 seed going on the road to play, what was it, Texas? And if they won that, you got Georgia. So that's fun.
All right, Tim, I'm going to throw something at you that was not on the docket today.
Sure, let's go for it.
Okay. I don't have a visual to pop up because I just thought about this. Actually, no, I don't. For our football preview, we always do our season prediction, the score, our record prediction, all that stuff. Do you want to know what mine was?
Hey, that's the first thing I always go to. I love to see what I've been doing that for decades, but I mean, you're 11-1. I think I've heard you talk about.
All right, I was not. I was 10-2 at first. I feel like the last time me and you had this discussion, I was kind of leaning 10-2.
Yeah, you're 10-2ish. Yes.
Oh wait, real quick. Domer Wap, thank you for the $5 super chat. It says, been a while, Mike. Congrats on your wife's pregnancy. Thank you very much. I'm glad you brought this up. This just reminded me. I talked about this with Tim today. From like late July to mid-September, we're going to move our show to Tuesday nights, probably around the same 8 p.m. window, because I'm having pregnancy classes with my wife for Wednesday nights from like 6:30 to 9:30 Eastern. So
good times, man.
Yeah, it was either Tuesday night or like Wednesday at 5 p.m. Eastern, and Tim's running around doing all sorts of crazy things. So we are going to move the show to Tuesday, and then I'm expecting Sobel and Horka to do some kind of boot up some kind of show to get more programming on our Blue and Gold YouTube channel. But Domer Wap, really appreciate it. And Tim is back in the cave. It's just how he shifts his camera sometimes, but he's definitely he's on the boat.
Who knows? Yeah.
You know what, Tim? I get a lot of people ask me about the boat.
It's a big boat.
A lot. I just last week, someone asked me, "Is Tim really on a boat? Like what? Like no, he's not on a boat." Except his in-laws.
The boat is, I can see it from here though. It's right there in the water, so it's there.
There you go. Okay. So regular season, I went 11-1. I didn't have to pick which game they lose, but I'm going 11-1. It's my heart says 11-1. My brain that feels my brain that has been like influenced by former Notre Dame team says 10-2, but I'm going with my heart, Tim. Playoff seed / bowl game. So if they go 11-1, they're making the playoffs.
Yeah, they're a home team. They're a home team at 11.
Okay, I went 6. I went just on the fringe.
I think that's right there. Because you got to, if they're
so they'll host. Obviously they can't get a first round bye, so they would host the first round. Yeah. It's 5 through 8 seeds played 9 through 12.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, 6 will play 11.
Yeah. So obviously, no matter what, they can't get a bye week under the current structure. So 6 seed, team MVP, and please, folks, consider buying the football preview. I'm going to pop it up on the screen here in just a second. BlueGoldOnline.com. There's multiple ways to save. So if you go to BlueGoldOnline.com, click here, how to save pre-orders. If you're a website subscriber, if you're a magazine subscriber, you have options. If you're neither, you can still save $5 with shipping. This offer ends Friday, though. So to go to BlueGoldOnline.com, 160-page full-color glossy magazine. Get it for yourself, Father's Day gift, Mother's Day gift for next year. Seriously, though, whatever the case may be, go ahead and pick this up. Make it a couple, actually. BlueGoldOnline.com. Please, please, please consider purchasing that. The amount of time you're going to spend reading it and then referring back to it during the football season, it's going to be worth it. Trust me. So BlueGoldOnline.com. All right, going back to my predictions, Tim. Team MVP, I'm going to Watts. Okay. You don't like Watts? You don't like Watts as the team MVP?
No, because the odds of him doing what he did last year, it's going to be hard.
Yeah. We saw that with Morrison the year before, but Morrison still had a great year. I'm going to say Watts is going to have another really solid year. It might be something where there's not like one obvious choice, and we go with Watts.
If they're going 11-1 and the free safety is the best player, that's going to be an interesting season. It's going to be a lot of 21.
He's a ball hawk. He's a ball hawk. Yeah, I mean, it's a fair point, but I'm going to continue on.
I like it.
Breakthrough player, J.D. Price.
That's my team MVP. So
okay, so there you go. Most anticipated game, A&M. I mean, it's for me, it's definitely is. Tim, you know this, in a season opener, the teams aren't very defined yet, especially in college football where you don't have like much of a preseason. You have no preseason, right? The team game 1 is so much different than the team 8th game, 9th game, 10th game. So that's why like Notre Dame might be significantly better than Texas A&M later in the year, but week 1 at Texas A&M, dude, very much the most anticipated game for me. Upset alert, I got USC. I figure Notre Dame will be favorited, but it's at USC in a rivalry game. That would be my upset alert. I got opponent on the rise is Louisville, opponent on the decline, Purdue, and then coach of the year in college football championship game. I don't know, just kind of go safe pick. Kirby Smart coach of the year, and championship game, Georgia, Texas. Just throw something on the wall, see what it sticks. So
there you go. Yeah, so if Notre Dame's 11-1, let's just go off yours real quick. 11-1, 6 seed. So they'll face the 11, which would be a Missouri. We'll give that to Sobel. How's that, Jack? You're going to get your alma mater is going to get spanked in South Bend. So you're going to get Sobel and the Mizzou Tigers. Then Notre Dame goes and plays the 3 seed. Now the 3 seed, 99.9% shot it is going to be the ACC or Big 12 because the top 2 are going to be the SEC, Big 10.
Yeah, probably.
So Notre Dame could just go play in a neutral site in the Sugar Bowl, the Peach Bowl, whatever, the ACC champ. So I would give that's pretty awesome odds. Take that all season long.
Yeah.
6 seed to play the 3, the ACC champs, who could, because it could be Florida State, who they just played earlier, or it could be Miami, Clemson, let's say one of those. But they're probably going to be a 10-2-ish type of a team. So Notre Dame will get them in that.
Interesting.
Yeah. So that'll be pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Pretty awesome. A legit shot in your scenario to win 2 games. Now, 1 is the ultimate because it hasn't happened since the damn Cotton Bowl after the 93 season. That's basically what a playoff game is the old BCS, New Year's 6, the old, those big giant New Year's games. That's what it is. So win 1 because it hasn't been done in 30 freaking years. So let's get that out of the way first.
Yeah. On Friday afternoon, news broke that Tyler Buckner was rejoining the football team. And it was like 5 minutes before I had to do a live show with Kyle Kelly, our recruiting show. We spent 35 minutes on it. We had Goolsby. I called Tim live on the show. I called him up. He didn't answer. Tim's texting me, what's going on? I'm at work. I'm like, Tim, check the news wire, dude. Like, you gotta catch up here.
Yeah, I'm not hitting refresh, man. I was like, hey, I thought something crazy happened. You're calling me, you're texting me. I was like, dude, what happened? I mean, what did I say? Deuce Knight not show up? Is that the news? I was like, not, it's not happening. But go on from there.
So this is my reaction to Tyler Buckner rejoining the team as a walk-on receiver. From a media personal interest standpoint, this is great June fodder. Something to talk about other than recruiting. This is fun, but when it comes to the actual football that's going to be played this season, I don't think it's going to be much. I really wouldn't be surprised, though, if one of those games, there's a couple injuries, knock on wood, and then they have to throw in Buckner, and he's the story of the game. But otherwise, I don't think that this is going to be a big deal. Matt Freeman from Irish Sports Daily tweeted out some clips the other day of Buckner playing receiver, and it was from his freshman year of high school. It's like 7 years ago. Like, I'm not sure how much to buy in to that, but he's a really good athlete, and we'll see how it goes. But I think that this is a fun thing to talk about, but I don't think it's going to be an impactful thing on Notre Dame's football team. That's my take. What's yours?
Complete opposite of you. 1,002%. So why would you sit him on the bench? What? Who got injured last week that came out publicly? Who is the third down back? Who is their short yardage back? Who's the guy to go get people tough yards?
So you want him to play running back now?
Hold on. Was that Payne, correct? Who's the most violent, straight-ahead running back on the team last year? Not Estime. It was Payne. So you got a guy. What is Tyler Buckner known for? Running the ball. How in the world would you not put Tyler Buckner back there as a wildcat, unbalanced type of a formation and run him right at your ass on 3rd and 2? He's run quarterback power, counter, you name it. I mean, seriously, those were some of the first things I thought about was like, First off, I was laughing like, oh my God, do we ever get a day off from news? Something crazy happens every damn day around here. So, but Buckner is a freaking hell of an athlete. The dude is a runner. All you have to do is just rewatch his running, watch him run in 2021, 2022. Watch the running touchdown he audibles against South Carolina. And then all of a sudden, he's coming in as a wildcat quarterback. He can run the boot. He can run the dump passes. He could do all those things. Man, it's funny. Every time me and Mike Goolsby talk about a few things, I always just mention Ohio State 22 because people go back when they run an unbalanced into the boundary. If Kevin Bauman just blocks the dude for a millisecond on a counter, Buckner's he's gone for 80 freaking yards. The guy just gets him by a hair. But I look at it more as a positive. Why would you sit a top 100 quarterback, a bowl game MVP, a guy that has started games, a guy who's played in 10 games as a freshman? Why would he sit on the bench? I think the whole wide receiver thing is cute and cuddly. Dude, they're going to get into camp, and so why not play him? Why not play him when it's 3rd and 2? Why not play him as a goal line package? Why can't he be the Tim Tebow of 2006? That's all Tebow did as a freshman, is just run the rock right down people's throats on short yardage. Here you go, Chris Leak, you go throw. Let Riley be the quarterback. But why not do what Buckner did in 2021? The dude is pretty successful at it.
Okay. I hadn't thought about that.
I'm just thinking as a football player, as a guy, an athlete. As an athlete. I'm not talking about him coming out playing X receiver, catching fades and things of that nature. He may play some slot, but the dude's an athlete. And I keep hearing this, well, he's a walk-on wide receiver. No, he's not. He's a blue chip quarterback who is a damn good athlete. It's a little bit different. He's coming back on the team as that.
Well, he's not a blue chip quarterback anymore. He is in fact a walk-on. That's just a fact of the matter.
Yeah, exactly.
It didn't work out for him at quarterback.
You're not going to sit him on the sideline. I bet you $5. Why would Mike Denbrock say, yeah, let's just have that hell of an athlete over there? My best friend, Mike Denbrock, my best friend's Brian Kelly, who loves Tyler Buckner. It's like, yeah, just let him sit all year. He's a walk-on. The dude's going to play. You watch. He's going to play. He's too athletic. He's too competitive. He's too damn good of a runner to just chill on the sidelines.
Okay.
Especially the pain out. You really only got 2 now, right?
I'm intrigued with the Wildcat quarterback thing.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking about.
That's it for me. If he can play some receiver, all right, I'm interested in that, seeing it. Or maybe if he, I don't know how big he is these days, but he is kind of a thicker kid. Like, can
Yeah,
he
it's
can he
good.
play?
Yeah.
Can he play a little? Well, I don't know. You know, you got your quarterback blocking a little bit, but can he just be a little H back and slip out in the flats here? You know, so he is a he is a very good athlete, but they also
yeah.
have some other athletes. So it's like if you're taking away more carries for your team MVP, then that, you know.
Oh no, I get it's a wildcat package. It's a 3rd and 2 type thing. It's a red zone. You get inside the 10. Do you want Riley Leonard taking hits? It's that type of a situation. It's game management,
Yeah,
utilizing your players. Riley Leonard's a stud running back as well. It's like we all know that. I get it. But Riley Leonard goes down, is Steve Angeli taking this team to the playoffs? The odds of that are, well, we'll find out, won't we, if something happens. But I'm
yeah,
only saying it as a way to get his athleticism.
yeah.
I mean, people don't like it, so be it. Just go back and watch the film when he ran the ball. He could play.
I'm 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 intrigued, but I'm not sure I'm bought in on
And
your
I understand
idea.
the whole, well, you take carries away, goal line, it's wildcat, it's an
Yeah,
unbalanced, like you're doing it 16
it's not
times
a
a game.
first and 10. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just those types of things. I mean, we saw
I can just
the 20th
foresee, Tim, I can just foresee Notre Dame doing that on a 3rd and 2, Buckner getting stuffed, and everyone just losing their damn mind on social media and the message boards.
people lose their mind on everything.
That
Right?
ain't that
Sam
the
Hartman
truth?
did a QB snake and the people lost their mind. It's like people lose it all the time. So it's just
Yeah.
part of the game.
You're gonna take away the Mitchapalooza for the Buckner sneak or something, or the Buckner cat.
After the ACL, just let him catch some passes or whatnot. But yeah, I mean, maybe they'll do the Mitchell. It's just a way to get him on. It's an athlete, and that and I keep hearing this term. Well, he's a walk-on wide. Dude's an athlete.
Okay.
He's going to play.
You can dismiss the walk-on wide receiver thing all you want, but that is very much what
that's coach speak. That's coach speak. That's media relations. That's all that is.
Okay. All right. So you think A&M, they're going to bust that out as a wrinkle or something? A surprise package.
Yeah. I mean, they're going to prep for it. You know darn well Elko and them are going to prep for it. They will. They'll be watching some 21-22 film just to see what he ran and things of that nature. That's what I mean. I'm not dismissing it because as a coach, I'm looking at it. Well, that's just another athlete. And we just lost an athlete. Would I be saying this if Payne blew out his knee and he's gone? Because Payne is McCullough's most trusted dude in key situations. So it's like Payne gets hurt, utilize Buckner.
Yeah.
Plus, he's got 2 years of eligibility. Who's to say this is just a one and done thing, right?
Okay, so the football side of it, I will admit, it's not my favorite thing, just from like a standpoint of, you know, like when I was complaining about Hartman, it just seemed like he would never leave after the football season. He was just we got to do another year or two of Buckner. But I will say the human element side of things, and I like the writing the letter was a little much, but I respected the hell out of what he wrote. It wasn't necessary, but I respected it. I thought it was really cool.
Yeah.
I'm pulling for him. I am. Like, he has. Well, look, we all have pride and ego. He buried his to say, "Hey, I'll come back." And I think Goolsby was like, when we talked to him last Friday, he's like, "You know, I'll come fill up the water bottles." Like that's essentially what Buckner is doing here, and I respect it. So my hat's off to Buckner. I have been a critic for sure. I was not the biggest Tyler Buckner, the quarterback fan, but Tyler Buckner, the kid, I'm very much pulling for him.
And there's an interview a couple weeks ago during the lacrosse. You know, the Kavanaugh brothers are always on Pat McAfee's show, and they were talking about phase on and on the team and whatnot. And one of the brothers was like, actually, the best athlete on the team is Tyler Buckner. They're like, he's unbelievable. So that's always stuck in my head. Payne gets hurt. He comes back. Just those types of things. So, he's going to be on the team, which, by the way, as a coach, that was probably the biggest surprising thing. Like, Marcus Freeman brought him back. And I think that's something that really hasn't been talked to probably enough about.
Okay, so
that's a big decision. A guy that left the program, was there, left the program, has come back. Obviously, I'm sure Freeman talked about this decision and things of that nature. But it's fascinating that he brought him back. A guy that left the program and Freeman brought him back. I was very surprised by that.
Okay, why? Why does that surprise you?
Sometimes coaches are like, well, you've left the program. Why are we bringing you back? You know what I mean? That type of thing. So, but for Freeman, you read Freeman's, he talked to the team, talked to the coaches and whatnot, and they obviously all gave him a thumbs up to come back to the team. So, I was surprised when I saw the news, like, wow, Freeman's going to bring him, letting him come back on the team. So he's opening the door. He's coming back on the team. He's a good athlete. They'll find a way to get him on the field somewhere.
Okay.
I'm just saying, come fall camp, man. When you packages, goal line things.
All right. I don't think that they're. So I hadn't thought about the Wildcat thing. I had not given it a second. My thought was if he's going to find his way on the field, you just used the word they're going to find a way. My mind went to I don't think they're going to find a way. I think if he's going to play, it's just going to hit the fan, just like Faison last year. Faison had a great fall camp, but the biggest Jordan Faison supporters out there weren't saying MVP of the bowl game. You watch out. Like no. Biggest Joe Alt fan there was. Did I think he was going to start as a true freshman? Hell no.
No.
So but would they entertain the Wildcat thing, and what impact would that have? I don't know. What impact could that have on the locker room? I don't know. I'm interested.
I don't think it'll be a locker. I mean, at the end of the day, ask Mike this next time you guys do a show. At the end of the day, players just want to win. They don't give a damn. They'll get me yards. Back to the
they give a damn.
No, they don't. They don't give a damn. Whoever out there, if you're going to help us win, you're going to help us win. They don't care. If you come out there as a Wildcat quarterback and you go get me 4th and 1, you get me 2 yards. They don't care who it is. Players want to win.
They do want to win, but they give a damn a little bit as well. But winning does solve all problems.
Oh, it solves everything.
Yeah, scout team quarterback for Navy Army, 100%.
Without a doubt. I mean, that's no brainer.
All right. Moving along, Tim, I do need to make an apology to Augie's locker room. When I was in town, I got in Saturday. My buddy Ian picked me up from the airport. We were heading to lunch, and we were going to stop at Augie's, and then I spaced it. So, Augie, I apologize. I was going to be there to see the new location on 1733 North Ironwood Drive in South Bend. But next time I'm in town, which will be soon, I will stop by Augie's locker room, the one-of-a-kind, unique Notre Dame memorabilia shop. Augie's locker room. If you're in town for a game, whatever the case is, folks, if you're local, go over to Augie's locker room, especially if you haven't seen the new store located again, 1733 North Ironwood Drive, just down the street from Notre Dame. Check out the wide selection of Notre Dame Stadium pieces, jerseys, helmets, autographs, and one-of-a-kind Rocky items. You can find exclusive Joe Montana signed items and famous sculptor Jerry McKenna's replicas of the bronze statues that you find around the stadium. Augie gets new stuff in all the time. If he doesn't have it in store, he's going to go find it for you. Visit augieslockerroom.com. Give Augie a call during business hours, 574-277-6363. Evil Check Brewing, Tim. I've been there a few times. That's where I went with my buddy Ian, and we got their buffalo wings were one of the best wings I've ever had, wing meals. And then a birria pizza. Like, I love me some quesadillas or birria tacos. We had a birria pizza that let's just say, it felt like I ate a few Taco Bell meals in one sitting. afterwards, but it was amazing. So free plug to Evil Check. So it's good stuff. So there you go. Moving along, Tim. Notre Dame landed a new quarterback. Is that where we're going next? Yes, it is. So Notre Dame landed a new quarterback. We talked about this in the video. We've been covering this a lot on our Blue and Gold YouTube channel. But I wrote an article, Tim, and I'm curious for your take if you think this is something or if this is nothing in your opinion. Okay? So this was the article. Let me pull it up. Has Notre Dame raised the bar with its quarterback recruiting? A look at Freeman's first 5 classes. So what I did was look at the quarterbacks that Freeman has signed and has committed. So that's Angeli. Kelly got him committed, but Freeman signed him. I'm putting Angeli in the Freeman. So you got Angeli, Minchie, Carr, Knight, Grubbs. All 5 of those guys either committed to Notre Dame or on the roster. And then Kelly's last 5, you have Avery Davis in 17, Dracovic in 18, Brendan Clark in 19, Pine in 20, Buckner in 2021. All of those Kelly guys are off the roster, at least as a quarterback. In Buckner's case, of course, he is back. Even though Tim might deny it, for now, he's a walk-on wide receiver. So what I did was compare them from a ranking standpoint. I wrote in this article, while recruiting rankings aren't the be-all, end-all, it's a notable and fair, what I write, Tim, data point for this comparison. So in using the On3 industry ranking, which is a weighted average that utilizes all 4 of the major recruiting services, the national ranking average of the 22 to 26 group is 192.8 overall. And I think it's slightly changed since. I think one of the websites just updated their 26 rankings, so it's like slightly different for Grubbs. The 2017 to 2021 group is 245.2 nationally. So Freeman's first 5, 192 overall, or 193 overall rounding. Kelly's 245, his last group. And then specifically with the quarterback rankings, just that position, 13.8 for Freeman's, 24 for Kelly's. Is this something? Is this nothing? Is it just a little data point? Does it show you, to answer the headline, has Notre Dame raised the bar with quarterback recruiting? Or do you feel like this isn't fair because we know the results of those Kelly guys? We don't with any of these Freeman guys.
Yeah, number one, that's all. I mean, it's an article. It's looking at numbers and whatnot. I thought it was fine. I had no issues with it. The Angeli thing, Angeli was full on, Reese and Kelly had nothing to do with Freeman. Freeman was on campus for like 12 days when Angeli committed. So I wouldn't put him in there. So what I did a little opposite singer. I didn't count Avery Davis. Avery Davis obviously never played quarterback. He played every other position but quarterback. So I kind of took him out just because of that recruiting. I went back, looked at his recruiting, where he fell in. It was kind of
still a quarterback recruit for them. That's why I included him.
Yeah, but he was, I went back and found old Blue and Gold articles, and it was always talked about him as an athlete. We're going to try other positions. So I really never looked at him as a quarterback.
Okay, that's fine.
Now, plus Dracovic committed like the next month after that, 2 years prior. Dracovic was like a Buckner, Carr, Grubbs, Knight. All these guys committed 2 years early. So I kind of went from there. So I did going with yours, which I did like. So I went from Dracovic to Angeli. Those were the Kelly guys. So you go Dracovic, Clark, obviously Pine, Buckner, Angeli.
Well, then that is going to heavily, heavily favor Freeman.
Oh no,
because Angeli was the lowest ranked of that group. So now you just have all top 200 guys with Freeman. I've always considered 22 as Freeman.
The more I look at that, no, you can't, because all those guys, so many of those guys.
But then, Tim, by that logic, Carr was a Reese guy. So, but
he was. He definitely was. But the head coach,
you
know what I mean?
That's but Kelly had as much to do with the Angeli recruitment as I did, and you did, Tim. But that's fine. I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that.
No, I hear you. So I did that. So when you look at the Freeman guys, the 4 guys, let's just stick to the main 4: Minchie, Carr, Knight, Grubbs. I went by the on-3 player rating. So 93.44, which is basically what landed them as top 150 if going off of really the last two classes, where that rating would have put them. So go Jerkovic to Angeli, Mike, you dropped 2+ points, 91.21 player rating, which puts them in the top 250-ish, between that 230, 250 range. So basically 100 spots in the ratings, which is pretty crazy to look at. So yeah, without a doubt, recruiting is it's just different. It's a different philosophy. And the old saying goes, you get what you pay for, right? So Freeman has made a huge effort in going out, finding out who these guys are as sophomores. I mean, they did with Dante Moore. That was the Minchie year, and they ended up with Minchie. But so they've gone out multi-years ahead of time trying to look for bodies to go. Where Kelly, they did that with Buckner. They did, even Pine, even Jerkovic.
Pine committed really early, yeah.
Even some of the other guys. I mean, Kelly had 5 straight years with an Elite 11 quarterback from Golson to Wimbush. So 5 straight years, Notre Dame had a quarterback. I went to some of them. They're at Redondo High School. So where I went to high school, out there in the South Bay of Southern California. And it was awesome. It was like, oh man, another Notre Dame guy is going to the Elite 11. It was just a cool little thing. But now they're back on that run, right? Now you got multiple years in a row now of Minchie, Carr, Deuce Knight's going to be going here in a couple weeks. Grubbs will obviously be in it. So now they're getting that ball rolling again like they did in those early Kelly years. So, and I know we've talked about this. I really think that so much changed with the Kaiser Malik Zaire, man. Just, it was just a headache in 16. Then they both leave. One NFL, Malik transfers. And then all of a sudden, boom, you only had a couple quarterbacks. And it was just a weird
history. Tim, but that right there.
Go for it.
If Carr's the guy in 25, that very well could be the case.
Yes.
You just got 2. If Carr jumps Angeli and Minchie next year, it's getting ahead of ourselves, but
that's my scenario. I've been saying for multiple months. CJ, next year. It's like he's starting next year. I'm not going to believe anything else until someone beats him out. I think he's going to start. I think you read players' comments, coaches' comments, off the record comments, this comment, that. The dude tears it up at practice. I mean, look at Bo Collins down at Mississippi last week or 2 weeks ago. Someone asked him about the quarterbacks, and he was like, "That guy's the best guy."
He's both said that.
There's something out there. There's something out there where he's talking about guys in an article. I'll send it to you, and talking about CJ. Guys know who the guy is. If he doesn't start, so be it. That's my prediction. But obviously, Mike, that something will transpire from that with multiple transfers. So
he's only saying that because Steve wasn't there.
Yeah, interesting why he wasn't there. That's interesting.
So Steve was training in California for like a week or 2 before that. Like he was there. And then Minchie wasn't there. I think Minchie was training in Nashville near his home. So it's my understanding that all the quarterbacks got the invite, but those guys were already doing other things.
They're already doing things.
For what it's worth.
Yeah, which is fine. It's a good little workout. But yeah, everything's definitely improved. Everything's definitely moved up. Doesn't mean it's going to be that way on the field. So
on the field, right? But it's a higher caliber quarterback.
True. Recruiting. No, it's a higher caliber. Yeah, exactly. But Notre Dame has still recruited tons of blue chips in the past. People are funny. They have. Because people act like Notre Dame recruited nothing but Pines for 10 years, and they didn't do that. It was, they recruited, like I said, they had 5 straight years of elite 11 quarterbacks. They had some dudes. They had a 5-star in there that didn't pan out. So, you just go back all the way to the Weiss years, and you look at the quarterbacks who were ranked in the top 100. Very few of them that have come to Notre Dame has actually made it. So, outside of Brady Quinn, Clausen's 1 year. So it'd be interesting to see what these guys are, because the whole mindset is you keep stacking guys if you got 4 straight blue chips, all top 200 top quarterbacks, Knight's I think would be the highest ranked one. I don't know if he's ranked ahead of Carr. He might be, but they're basically tied top 250-ish. Someone in that group, right, Mike? You're thinking takes you to the promised land. So we'll see what happens. I mean, Notre Dame has recruited plenty of 4-star, guys in the past. So we'll see.
Okay.
We'll see.
I would like to shift.
It's a great data point. I think it really shows that, the vast, the big time improvement that has happened.
Yeah. And like I said, it's a situation where we know what happened with those Kelly guys. We don't with the Freeman guys, so we might be like, oh, it's so much better here. But we'll see. But I do feel pretty confident that just based on the numbers, not even using the opinions, the bar has been raised. Then I want to move into some receiver discussion in the 2025 class. Notre Dame lost a commitment from Sean Terry, the 5'10", 165-pound speedsters from Southern Ohio. Tim, I couldn't tell you 3 words we said on his commitment video whenever we, broke that down. But we I'm sure we liked them. So the last thing I want to get on here and say is, no, he wasn't good anyway. It's like, no, because I'm sure that happens a lot out there. Like people are, excited about a commitment and then they leave. They're like, oh, whatever, we're good anyway. He's a fine player, but what I will say, Tim, is I think Notre Dame is going to be fine. I don't think that he's a make or break prospect for the receiver room for this class. A fine player for sure. He's going to go play at some power conference school like a Michigan or a Missouri, and can be a fine slot receiver. But he decommitted. He took a visit to Missouri while committed to Notre Dame. This was 2-3 months ago. It's my understanding that he went kind of secretly, hush hush. You can't do that these days. Tim, kids try to do it. It always gets leaked. Well, all right, you know what? Maybe not always, because I'm sure there's one I don't know. There's ones that happen that I don't know about. Just talking about the grand scheme of college football. But they usually, people find out about them. So Terry has been looking a little bit, and I think Notre Dame isn't, they're not drinking themselves to sleep. That's probably not the best term, but you guys get what I'm saying. They're okay in the Goog. They're going to keep pressing on. So first, Tim, before we move on, your reaction to Terry's decommitment.
Yeah, I mean, we're not going to say nothing bad about him. Like he said, we did a video. He's fast. He's got some athletic ability. He'd be another slot type of a football player for the Irish that guy you run motions with and bubble screens and, your slot fades and things of that nature. He's a fine athlete. So wide receiver recruiting in a nutshell is, I have no idea. So don't ask. It's a mess. If you, seriously, if you really want to, Mike, it's a mess. It's a mess unless they get Meadows. Meadows is a freakazoid. If they don't get, which is always a little scary, let's be honest, SEC officials with a little Notre Dame in the middle, that's always, and the last one is Bama. That's the interesting one. The rest of, I don't know, man. I really don't understand this wide receiver room. There's 3 new offers every week. So I'm like, I can't even keep up. I'm not even, it's like, why even watch film on these guys until we know? It's pretty wild.
Yeah. There has been different moving parts. I reported about this at blueandgold.com in my Gold Standard article yesterday. You can find that there. There was one interesting development on the receiver board that we're not going to talk about tonight. I want to just leave that for the article. But there was a new offer that went out to John Anthony Hall. I think this was like Friday night at like 10 o'clock. Tweets out an offer from the Irish and sets up an official visit right away. So you have Terry decommitting. other guys kind of coming off the board, just a little bit. I think it made sense for them to go ahead and offer Hall, 6'1", 170 pounds, really good basketball. No, it was track. I think big time track guy.
And basketball.
Yeah, he is a hooper as well.
Yeah, he's a good athlete.
Yeah.
Now,
so go ahead, Tim.
Now, I mean, he's a mid-range Big Ten football player. I mean, that's just my humble opinion. I mean, those are the visits he's going to. He's like the 30th wide receiver they've offered this year. So
yeah, I think though I hear you. I hear you, but I think part of his blow up is the track time, like verified track times. When you are able to pair that with film, sometimes you watch film, you're like, man, who's they playing against? This, that, and the other. But then you get a verified track time.
Well, what's his track time? I haven't seen any track time. Someone was posting 11.5. 11.5 is not fast.
Ain't no way. No,
I swear to God, someone posted 11.5 on the message board. I'm like, 11.5 is not fast. I guarantee you that. So I don't know what his track time is. Hey, once again, Mike, we say 1 billion and 2 times, man. There's 8,000 wide receivers in the United States of America. Okay. I mean, Notre Dame fans are hooting and hollering for a guy from FIU. No one ever heard of him. Now he's going to be the go-to guy this year. So, so be it. They're all over the country. Guys like him, Sun Belt guys, group of 5 guys, they're all over. So he's a solid receiver. I don't think he's not special. That may disappoint some people. So, because every time Notre Dame offers a guy like, well, we got to get this guy. Well, yeah, you probably do now because you lost out on the other 25. So, I mean, to be honest, unless you just think, me personally, and I would just find 3 receivers. You got 2, right? I mean, I'm losing track, Mike. There's 2, right? Bettis, who's a better safety in my opinion, and Burgess, right? Burris.
Burris,
Plaxico's son. Solid football player, really good high school football out there in Jersey Catholic. Find one more. There's portal dudes, man. Why rush to try and pick up some high school wide receiver whose final 3 are Notre Dame, Purdue, IU? I mean, that's just my opinion. Save that spot. I'm sure you could go find a 5th-year guy. That's just me. And that's, with some of these guys, Meadows is the only one, really. It sounds like they're recruiting that's a legit dude. I'm not a fan of some of the other guys. Hines is solid. He reminds me of KK Smith. Solid wide receiver, nothing fancy or whatnot. Hope comes to Notre Dame, develops, ends up being a good football player by his 3rd year. That would be great. But
okay.
Wide receiver recruiting, I mean, people complain about D-line. Holy moly. Wide receiver is not even in the same room with D-line.
Yeah. I've never really been on the D-line moaning crowd. Like, especially after I saw all right, Reef looked good. Hulock.
Yes.
Yes. Hulock looked great. Dixon's really good. We had a thread today. Everyone's saying how Dixon's like super, super underrated. People love Davion Dixon.
There's spring film this spring because Florida does pads, which is nice. And there's spring film of Dixon. He runs down some dude who's going he's got a bunch of ACC offers, a running back I just saw, and he ran him down from behind, tackled him on a screenplay, that the guy had to have a full set of speed, but it's just you see this little nose guard hauling butt. It's like, D-line's not too bad. That's my take. Wide receiver knows, man. I don't know, Mike.
Yeah. Well, you like the Dylan Robinson kid? We talked about him 4 weeks ago.
Yeah. Athlete. That's a track guy. That's a guy who's been running 10.5s, 10.6s.
So Anthony was outstanding in the long jump, I think it was. That was the track.
I think it was long jump. I think someone posted. But Robinson, solid. I just get leery with him. Like, once again, kind of a late offer. Washington, and I know UCLA is all over him. He's already officially visited there. I think Washington's coming up. Sometimes you get those middle of the road type guys, and they stick home. That's just, I mean, Notre Dame, you could say, is his best offer, but does he have that lure to play in the Big Ten, right? UCLA and Washington. So that's going to be interesting. I really like Robinson. He is a fantastic athlete. That a lot like Bettis. He could be a heck of a DB down the road as well. So you get really good athlete. But it's all on Meadows, and you know that, Mike. He's he's the crown jewel of this pretty much offensive class, because running back doesn't excite anyone. Flanagan's a tight end. Yeah, we get those guys every year. Offensive line is all O-line. Obviously Deuce is Deuce. We talked about that with the QBs rolling now each and every year, but Meadows is the dude on the offense.
Okay, all right. Don't discredit Flanagan. I mean,
I love Flanagan.
Yeah, Flanagan's dude. He's a great tight end. He's a great tight end. This O-line class. Cam Herron looked great. Great. Hey, I kind of hope they offer him.
I've been saying that for 9 months.
You called it.
I absolutely hate. I'll say that in nice words. Hate the philosophy of only 3 offensive linemen. Which means they have to take 5 next year, which they can do. I'm like, just take 4 every year, let it play itself out. Herron, especially Indiana guys. People need to go back and just look at all the Indiana guys that go to Notre Dame and have success. I like that kid. He's physical as could be.
Yeah. Okay, so the O-line class, dude, very solid. 3 top of the board targets. Tight end, great. Running back, still some things improved. Justin Thurman has some really nice traits. Looking for a big senior year from him. Daniel Anderson's the same. Was it Anderson just last year was in a boot for a good bit of the year? I think he was banged up. So
the guy's got tremendous speed. I like the Florida running back.
And then obviously Deuce Knight might be, but the receivers there is
Meadows. Notre Dame fans are not going to be happy.
All right, so let's say they don't get Meadows. I think it's going to be Notre Dame or Bama. If they don't get Meadows, and you have Bettis. Burris looked really good.
All the way from IU and Purdue, Mike. Is that going to rally up the Notre Dame fans? And that's no disrespect to Hall. He's a fantastic athlete and whatnot. He is. He's solid. But
Tim, pop on the film and talk about that, not just IU Purdue. Come on, talk about Joe Alt's offer list. I mean.
Yeah. He was a quarterback at 215 pounds who grew up. So they knew the plan was to make him an offensive lineman. They're not doing that with Hall. But with wide receivers, when you start looking at it's just the official. That's just me. That's the Notre Dame guy in me. You start going to receivers. Okay, bam, where's he going to? Oh, okay. Hines is out, tremendous athlete. He was just at USC this weekend. USC recruits the heck out of Texas. Riley puts anyone at slots and they have success. So that's that. Okay, bam. If Riley likes this guy enough to recruit him to SC and bring him out for official visit, I like that. So,
okay.
Hey, maybe I'm speaking too honest, but it's
so if it's a group, let's say Bettis, Burris, Robinson, Hines.
It's a solid group. 2 of them make it, 2 of them don't. I mean, it's just, which goes to, someone just said this in the chat, which is so true. You constantly hear, Notre Dame fans are just fans in general of everywhere. Anytime a quarterback recruits, what's the first thing the quarterback talks about? Oh, I'm going to be the lead recruiter. I'm going to get guys. Who's coming at wide receiver, Mike? Deuce Knight, you watch film on him, he's electric. Where are the guys?
Tim, what do I always say? Like, kids don't go for other kids. It's a factor, but it's not.
People already doing it with Grubbs. Oh, Grubbs going to recruit. 26 receivers. It's still Notre Dame, man. There's like a fence. Top 100 receivers have a hard time getting into.
Yeah. So I think a big part of this is on Notre Dame to light it up through the air this fall.
Riley Leonard, that's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting. Light it up through the air. Okay, that's the we'll see what happens. Well, I like Riley. I was just watching some film on him just a couple of days ago. Just bored. I keep rewatching some of him just to be like, okay, what am I, just
what are you missing?
Yeah, I guess. He's a solid mid-range guy, tremendous athlete that runs, and then always at Notre Dame, he's taking the top off. So that's the thing. we're spending 10 minutes of wide receiver recruiting, but it's so true. And I think Notre Dame fans all across the country are just like, CJ Carr had Cam Williams, but Cam's the local guy. Gilbert showed up. Oh, Bryce Young's
coming. Tim, you are very pessimistic this evening, my friend. You are just going down a pessimism rabbit hole.
But only a wide receiver.
Yeah, okay.
Hey, only a wide receiver. We wanted to talk about wide receivers. We talked very positive with quarterback, the wide receivers. And I don't think there's a lot of Notre Dame fans out there that are like, hey, this is a hell of a class, man. This is Mike, seriously. You follow recruiting. Is this a game-changing wide receiver class if Notre Dame gets the 4 that you just listed? When we say game-changing now, they're 11-1 according to you. They're the 6th seed. They're going to host the 11th seed, who's Ole Miss. Then you got to go play a conference champion in the next round. Then if you get to the semis, you're guaranteed to play Bama, Georgia, Ohio State. So that's where you start to get, and that's where they're recruiting, right? Yeah, a guy says Jeremy's like Tim's negative. Wide receiver recruiting. Please tell me where wide receiver recruiting is positive. That's all I'm saying. And if I'm being negative because of wide receiver recruiting, so be it. I didn't say nothing about the season. I didn't say nothing about this team. I've been saying for a long time, this is definitely a playoff team. I am talking about wide receiver recruiting. So if people are happy, they think wide receiver recruiting is awesome, go for it, man. I have no problem with that. Everyone's got an opinion.
Tim's kind of cooking. It's
year 3, and this is the receiver recruiting. Let's just be
honest. I mean,
seriously.
Go to on paper. It's been very good. It has been. This year, it's just taking a little time.
Well, hold on. Let's look at paper. 22, they have 1. He's gone.
All right, that was 2
are gone.
Okay, well, no. On paper when they signed. Okay. On paper when they signed. Right? We're just talking about recruiting. We're not talking about.
Well, then, if you want to count the classes, then this is definitely the 4th out of 4th when you're looking at it. There's no Tobias Merriweather in this group. There's no Great House. Braylon James was outstanding.
I know. I agree with you.
Yeah,
I agree.
Would be the out of 4 classes if you're counting.
But
this is the 4th.
What you're doing right now is you're just thinking of the committed, and then you're just assuming they're not getting Meadows, which they still.
Oh, I'm not assuming that. I said, damn, they have to get him. They have. I mean, you got a prediction. You put a prediction in a year ago to get him. So.
Yeah, it was like a year ago today.
Yeah, a year ago to get him. So yeah, so I said Meadows is, man, he's the icing on that cake, man, for this offensive class. He really is. And throwing out Deuce, quarterbacks are their own giant, building, so to speak. But all the offensive players, man, they got good old lineman Will Black. It's great. Notre Dame gets those guys. We get it. Derek Meadows is a freak. His film this spring is freakish.
Yeah. So Notre Dame will host John Anthony Hall for official and Dylan Robinson next Tuesday. And then the week after, you have a few more receivers, Derek Meadows included, commits at the position, Tanuk Hines, which we didn't really talk about him, but he's a speedster. I think that would be a really solid.
Yeah, to me on film, when I see him on film, he literally he just really reminds me of a KK Smith. Same type of athlete, body, speed, and I like. I mean, KK looked outstanding in the spring, watching him run around. So no issues with that.
All right, Tim. Well, we're gonna wrap up with.
Oh, okay.
With this from Marcus Freeman. He's not blaming Sam Hartman for Notre Dame's 2023 shortcomings. That's the subhead there. So we're going to read what Freeman said about this. Freeman. So in like June, before official visits, that's when the head coach always has his one-on-ones with the different media outlets. Well, this year, I think he was just like, screw that. Let's just all get them together for a little private press conference and just Freeman sitting down with the media rather than Freeman have sitting down with each individual reporter from all these websites and give exclusives and answer all the same stuff. So that was this past Friday, and Freeman talked about Hartman and said, I don't think we put him in always the best situations to be successful. We didn't always put him in a situation for him to be as successful as he could. Same thing. He gave us everything he had. There was a lot of good. It's not what we wanted, not what I wanted. Freeman followed up saying, I don't know if we executed. How many times did we hear that this past season? We didn't protect him well enough. We didn't beat man coverage like we should have at times. He says, put the blame on us as coaches. So this was something you wanted to talk about, Tim. I'm curious for your take here.
Yeah, no, I just found it. I mean, he got pretty in depth. I kind of liked, reading the transcript from the, when all the ND beat guys were in there and stuff like that. And Jack Sobel and Tyler Horka, wrote some nice articles off of these things. So I just found this interesting because, Sam Hartman has been a lightning rod and whatnot. And when I read this, because what really got me was at the bottom, the quote where he says, I believe we have the personnel around Riley Leonard to make sure he's successful. That's, to me, I read these things and it's like Freeman knows, bam, we didn't have wide receivers. We didn't go out with guys. We went into that season assuming these guys were going to be the guys. They went out and got Caleb Smith, the Vautech guy. He bails, and they never tried to bring in another guy, which never made sense to me. I'm still amazed. And then I read this, because Sam Hartman, I mean, you've jumped on the Hartman blame game. I've never, because people always talk about Heisman. I don't remember, lining up on the Heisman train and whatnot. I think Sam Hartman's a hell of a college quarterback. I never said Sam Hartman for Heisman. You said he was going to New York in your 5 predictions. Let's remember that. So
yes, the fun 5 bold predictions segment, Tim. But I can pull up a freaking video of you talking about Hartman Heisman. If you want
beat Ohio State. If he beats Ohio State.
Oh, the if.
Well, yeah, you got to win games at Notre Dame.
All right, Tim.
Right?
Tim,
you have to win games.
I'm gonna go score a date with Kate Upton.
Hey,
if I lose 100 pounds, get a 6-pack, immediately look sexier. She leaves her husband. My wife's okay.
What did I say all season long? What did I say postseason long? I said over and over and over again. Did this coaching staff last year even watch Wake Forest film? Because to me, they didn't. Sam Hartman had big time success doing certain things at Wake. Play action game, deep out routes. The dude was nails 15, 20 yards throwing out routes. Obviously, back shoulder fades. He killed teams throwing back shoulder fades. Notre Dame threw like 2 all year. So, that was the frustrating thing. Once again, talking as a fan, if people want to blame him, whatnot, it was just a mess all around when you look at it. And I found it interesting that here it is in June, Freeman rehashed. He's pretty much talking about some of the mistakes he made. And this is going into year 3. He keeps learning. And that's what I'm looking at it as a coach.
Do you think he's learned from his mistakes?
Man, yeah. I'm a big head coaches at this level, they're all politicians, man. So you got to read between their lines.
100%.
You got to read between their lines. Yep. And I think Freeman really knows from year 1 to year 2 to now, I see the things that should have done that. We're going to make it. And I feel like he's building off of everything each and every year. I do. So, and I found that positive where he's talking about now we have Riley and we feel as a staff we're going into the season with weapons. There's no way in the world Notre Dame fans. I mean, this goes back to Mike Goolsby and I. We gave the wide receivers, remember, a C+, and we got attacked for, when we gave our preseason position.
Too high, Tim.
Hey, people were like, C+, oh my God, this wide receiver unit's elite. And me and Goolsby were like, oh, okay. I mean, we were the only ones that gave him a C+. And I said I was going to go lower, but I was like, I don't want to get attacked because Goolsby's getting attacked for a C+. So I went with him on the thing. But I just found that interesting. I found a lot of his quotes interesting. Him talking about being a CEO type of a role, how that's really evolved over his 3 years, going into year 3. So a lot of good things. If people haven't read the articles Sobel and Horka put out, read them because there's some fascinating quotes in there from Marcus Freeman when he sat down for the press. He does this each and every year, as Mike said. So he's constantly learning. And one last thing off of that is, like he writes right here, the quarterback position is so important. I've said it before. We have to trust each other. And I liked how Freeman has learned from that. He said how much time he has spent with Riley Leonard and whatnot. And then I got a kick out of this. He says in the transcript, Mike, Sam and I were just hanging out 2 weeks ago. And I was like, oh, man, Singer would have loved that, right? So he's still in South Bend?
Sorry, say that again?
I was like, there's a part in here he says, me and Sam, we just hung out 2 weeks ago. And I'm just like, so when I'm reading the transcript, I'm like, oh, there's a Singer quote right there. So I'm like, he's still in South Bend? So, yeah, I talked to Sam a lot. I just saw him a couple weeks ago. So that was for Singer right there. But, hey, overall, we're one day closer to A&M as we wrap up this show.
Tim.
And that's what it's all going to be about, is the damn season.
All right.
Other things.
All right. My quick 32 and a half seconds.
Take it.
I think there was a lot of truth in what Freeman said. For whatever reason, no one criticizes Hartman in the building. Hartman, yes, the receivers did not help him, but I don't think he was quite the truck that we thought he would be at the quarterback position. And that might not even be all his fault. You talked about the Wake stuff, the back shoulder. I think it's partly on. I think it's a lot of things. Hartman might not have been as good as we thought he was going to be. Maybe sans Goolsby. The offense wasn't set up in Goolsby's favor, in Hartman's favor. And the receivers banged up and just didn't deliver. I think it was very much a combination of that and probably, 12 and a half other things.
Oh, yeah. It was a perfect storm for so many of those things that happened. And in the big games, the best defenses, going to get separation. You can deliver the ball, which he did. And, probably goes back to the success he had at Wake, is the coaching, the scheme he was in, and Coach Clausen and those guys did a hell of a job, obviously, with Sam. So, but no, that was kind of like a little last hurrah of Sam Hartman as we get ready for the Riley Leonard season here and get ready for the big A&M game kicking off.
Tim, you brought it tonight. You had some hot takes going against the grain. And usually I'm not sitting here being like, damn, Tim's kind of changing my mind on things. And you brought it tonight, my friend. So someone said, I love this version of Tim. John said this here a little bit ago. And
he loves it. Someone earlier says I'm too negative. So there you go. You take the good with the bad. Jerry Seinfeld, even Steven, you move on.
All right, we're going to sign off the show there. Really appreciate everyone tuning in to this week's show. If you have not done so yet on YouTube, please hit the thumbs up on this video. If you're new, it's your first time watching us, subscribe to the channel. Don't miss any of our content. You can go to blueandgold.com for much more on Notre Dame football and recruiting. And folks, please consider purchasing the Blue Gold. You go to bluegoldonline.com and consider purchasing the football preview magazine. So you go to bluegoldonline.com. What does it say on the front page right there? Like, click here on how to save on pre-orders, and here's all your information. Click the different boxes here for what fits you. 160-page, full color glossy magazine. In-depth analysis of position groups, player features, including one on Riley Leonard, previews of each Notre Dame opponent, final evaluation on the 2019 recruiting class, plus an information-filled note section, a look at former Irish players in the NFL, and recruiting overviews that I've been working on all day. Kyle Kelly's been writing some stuff as well for it. So please consider purchasing our football preview magazine, bluegoldonline.com. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. I'll be live Friday afternoon with Kyle Kelly. We'll recap Irish Invasion and then preview a major recruiting weekend for the Irish. But as always, folks, we will catch you next time.